Hello everyone, welcome back to another JCTCG video. Today we are taking a deep dive into the Sun and Moon era, and we're going to be looking into 4 sets that are rarely talked about. Let's get right into it. First, we have Burning Shadows, right? We're going to take a look into the listings, the market price, some of the cards in the set, and what is happening on eBay with some of them, right? So let's look into Burning Shadows. As you can see on a yearly, it is up 56%, which is fairly decent. If we look into the 3 months chart, it's just going up and down. As you can see, barely any of these sell. So it is very difficult to find liquidity for these items. If you want to get into one of them, you will be waiting quite some time in order to move your bots. However, this is just one of those scarcity plays, right? As we all know, Sun and Moon has been out for quite some time already. I believe it's gone over 8 to 10 years by now, and this is just more of a scarcity play when it comes to the Sun and Moon era. However, Burning Shadows actually has a chase card, right? As we all know, the Rainbow Charizard, it is extremely difficult to be hit, and it is an absolute chase. But before we get into it, as we can see here, we have 10 listings, and then all of a sudden, right, supplies dries up pretty fast. So someone can literally just come in here and buy them all out, right, with not that much capital. This is definitely drying up. Supply is drying up. It has a ho-oh in the cover, so this is a pretty cool box to have for your collection. Once again, it will be very difficult to sell given that it rarely moves, right? So in 6 months, it seems like we have about 8 sold, right? So not enough volatility. Yep. So let's look into the set list. So as we can see here, the Charizard, it is the absolute chase, right, for this set. We are looking into the near mint. As you can see, it is definitely gaining some tractions with everything else going up, Sun and Moon era. And there's also just 10 listings, right? So this is the flagship for this box, and it is a pretty cool card and very, very hard to hit. In a PSA 10, this has a really good premium, right? So we also have some of the trainers, right? Now, some of these earlier Sun and Moon era sets didn't really have much of the tag teams, right? They were known for the rainbow rares. As we can see, we have the Gardevoir, Champ, Darkrai. So this does have some decent Pokemon, but the chase is just it. I mean, it's Charizard or bust, right? Like, you want that Charizard. At this point, I would say either the Charizard or the sealed product is the chase, right? Let's look on eBay. So what I ended up doing here was I ended up filtering out anything below $1,000, right? The lowest market, I believe, is $1,200. So a 25% move up will be somewhere in the $1,500. So I wanted to make sure that we capture all those moves. And here we have 16 listings that will be part of the move. As you can see, some of these booster boxes do not look pretty good. So if you can find a minty box to add to your collection, it might be worth taking a look if this is something that you want for your collection. It has a nice ho-oh, and once again, supply is drying up. This is definitely on my watch list. I think playing the games, I actually enjoy playing Sun and Moon, so I also believe Sun and Moon era is actually very underrated. Although we all know, right, about Cosmic Eclipse and the tag teams, right? So if this is just a nice box, let's look into Crimson Invasion. This is actually a not so good set. However, it is actually up 72%, right? It took a while to gain traction. There are still plenty of listings in the market. It is still at around $638. So as you can see, they're all within $700, $600. The set list, this doesn't have much to go, right? The chase card is a Gyarados, right? Rainbow rare, and that's pretty much it. This set does not have much, and that is a reason why just this, this box has not moved in forever. So as we can see, we have some of the Ultra Beast. These just never took off, right? So I wonder if the same would happen with some of the future and past Pokemons that we're now having in Scarlet and Violet. So, market always dictates how a product or item moves. So let's look on eBay. I did the same. I ended up filtering out to try to capture a 25% move, and we have 13. Right, so lowest listed is somewhere between 655 and 660, and as we can see, we have decent amount of supplies here for Crimson Invasion. It's just one of those sets that just, unless you're trying to collect a full Sun and Moon booster box era collection, you're just not buying this set at all. Right. So the next set on the list is Ultra Prism. It is barely up on a year. It is actually down on the 3 and 6 month. And I think it's just looking for liquidity, right? Like these sets just don't have that much buyer interested in them. You can see we have 13 listings, right? And then supply just dries up. So this set list has a Lily full art, and I think out of all the sets that we're looking into, this one here has the most potential when it comes to a well-balanced set list, right? So we have the Lily, we have some of the evolutions, right? We have some of the legendaries, right? So this set here has a decent amount of choices when it comes to like the different Pokemons. So it's not like Charizard or Buzz. However, it is very hard carry by this Lily, right? So, or anyway, we ended up doing the same. We ended up filtering for a 25% move up, and there's just not that much supply in the market. This is very interesting to see, right? Like I don't get to dive into these sets that often, so, and I just don't hear many people talk about these sets, right? Because honestly, probably people don't care that much, but right before our eyes, these sets are drying up. Right, so the last one on the list is going to be Forbidden Light. Now, I know this set was very underprinted, right? There was just not that much interest on this set. And if we look into the chart on a 1 year, I mean, it's up 86%. Right, so it has just been carried by the boom and by scarcity as well. Barely any of these, there's barely any sales. Right, so if you are trying to move these, you are going to struggle, right? You have to wait for the right buyer. But once again, if money is not an option and you don't really care, supply is drying up fairly fast. There's only 7 listings. If we check the set list, this one here actually has a Lucario and a Green Ninja, right? So this one here has some decent Pokemons. Definitely a sleeper, I think. Although if I had to choose, I think I would still go with Ultra Prism and Burning Shadows, right? Like I would maybe rank this one third and Crimson Invasion last. But I actually like this Ultra Necrozma. As someone who plays Sun and Moon, I enjoy this card here, and it's only 25 bucks. Last but not least, let's check into eBay. And once again, I try to capture a 25% move. And there's just not that much supply, right? Some of these conditions are not that minty if you're looking for a minty box. And overall, there's, once again, I have to keep repeating it because there's just not that much supply of this stuff out there. I think people are sleeping on this Sun and Moon era earlier sets. And before we know it, these are gonna just not gonna be available. All right, so to wrap this up, out of all these sets, I think if I had to choose, me personally, I would go with Burning Shadows first, although I think I did rank Ultra Prism ahead of it. Burning Shadows just had the Charizard, right, as a flagship Pokemon, and people just go after the Charizard. I would then go with Ultra Prism, which is a very well-rounded set with the Lily, full art Lily, and Crimson Invasion is gonna rank last. That set is just, it's really bad, right? If I had to go Forbidden Light, it would just be for that Ultra Necrozma. Maybe I'll try to grab a raw copy of that card, and that's just my opinion. So, if you found this video helpful and you want more videos like this, leave a comment, like, and subscribe. See you on the next one. Peace.